Hello guys, welcome to Thermomixing Adventures. Lisa here. Hey look, I'm getting ready for dinner and I thought I'd show you how easy it is to do this layer dish today with some beautiful salmon. Now if you don't eat salmon but you eat like a white fish, you could certainly do that instead. This is from either the UK or the US. Actually it's the US cookie dough. I do know that because it's in ounces. Don't let that stop you making it though. Let me give you tips today to be able to make it really easy but also know how to shop for the ingredients and the weights that you need as well. So I'm going to skip through the beginning. I'm going to tell you what I've done because I've already marinated my salmon and then I'm going to show you some changes because you can see it says that it's pea soup. My kids don't eat peas, okay? So I'm doing pumpkin soup, which means there's a few changes I'm gonna make along the way. So come with me today, I'm gonna show you how easy this is. This will be on the table in 25 minutes from beginning to end, which is amazing. So let's get started cooking. The first thing it gets you to do is to actually grab peel off some lemon, and it gets you to put that in the Thermomix and you blitz that down into zest. Okay, so you're zesting your lemon. Now, if you don't have lemon zest, don't not do this recipe because you don't have zest. You can put some orange zest, some lime zest, or leave it out altogether. It'll be fine, okay? I did do that step though. Next up, it says to put it in the bowl, blitz it down, 10 seconds, speed 8. It's not a really fast blitz, it's actually speed 8. So you end up with it being a bit like crushed garlic, that texture. Scrape down the sides and then you add some oil, 1 ounce of oil, which when you're trying to figure out, okay, how much oil do I need? In the Thermomix, you're pouring it in. So the scales just go up in ounces and it matches. That's super easy, but maybe you're shopping for it. What do? Those of you watching along for a long time, you know the answer, okay? If you know the answer, put it in the chat. But for those of you who don't, multiply it by 3 and add a 0. So 1 ounce, is that what it's asking for? No, 2 ounces. Oh, I've jumped ahead. It said 1 ounce of oil. Sorry, guys. My glasses are great, but I think that camera's a little fuzzy. So 2 ounces, for example, would be 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, add a 0 is 60. That makes it then 60 grams. Okay, so that would be how much you shop for. But anyway, back to the recipe. 1 ounce of oil, 2 ounces of soy sauce. I use tamari or tamari. Half a teaspoon of brown sugar. I just use raw sugar because that's what I had. And then some 1 ounces of squeezed lemon juice. I used my spatula to squeeze my lemon, okay? Do try and get your pips out in this case. Most of the time I say to you just blitz them, but I don't know if you've ever accidentally blitzed the pips, but it looks like little shriveled bits of, I'm going to say they look like fingernails. That sounds really terrible, but honestly, that's what it looks like. If you blitz those pips down, they don't break down completely. They nearly break into little segments that resemble fingernails. So, you know though, if you have done that before, you know that's what happens, as much as that sounds terrible. So, do remove those seeds. Insert the measuring cup and it says to blend for 20 seconds. I blended for 5 because I actually went, I gotta go get those seeds out. So I stopped, fished the seeds out and kept going. It was an afterthought about the seeds. Then it says to place 4 salmon fillets in a deep-sided dish. By the way, say hi if you're watching on today, guys. And then coat it, put it aside for 10 minutes. Okay, so it's super easy, done that. Cover, set aside. All right, clean the mixing bowl. Check, I've got a clean bowl, excellent. So now into the mixing bowl, they want some potatoes. Now the potatoes are the thickener in this case. If you're trying to go low carb, use cauliflower instead. So they've got 5 ounces of potatoes, although in saying that, this has some steamed potatoes in the recipe as well. So again, you can swap it for cauliflower. Okay, next up is an onion. Okay, 4 ounces of onions quartered. I've just halved them. 3.6, and then a clove of garlic. It's a bit hard for me to see the screen. It's very glary. Can't wait till I'm in my new pantry down the track. Okay, on now with some oil. Can't even see the screen to tell me how much. I'm going to be Jamie Oliver. That'll do. And then I'm really hoping I bought a lid. Yes, I did. And we're going to blitz this down. Okay. Now it's going to blitz down for 3 seconds on speed 5. Off that goes. Which gives you just long enough to put your ingredients away. All right, so next up it's going to cook off before it cooks off. Because I am swapping peas for, no, I'm swapping what am I doing? Pumpkin instead of peas. I want to cook this pumpkin down at this step because it actually only has a short cook later otherwise. So normally it would say we're going to now cook this down. I'm just going to go back and I actually want to blitz down my pumpkin. Now I looked ahead, but if you're not sure on how to do that, let me show you. We go up to the 3 dots at the top corner, we go recipe details, we scroll down and we can see what we need. And at the very bottom, it's got the peas, and I think it was like 15 ounces, which is about 450 grams of peas. Okay, if you're shopping for it. I'm just gonna go continue. I have diced up pumpkin, just roughly diced, very roughly diced. I'm gonna put that in and we're gonna chop that down for a second. Okay, because it's gonna get partially cooked down in this step. So I'm gonna spin that up again to speed 5. I love the Thermomix. How easy does it make things? I hope these videos give you confidence to be able to change them to make them so they suit you and how you like food or those you cook for. I really, really hope this does. Okay, scrape down the sides. Let me show you what that is. Like, look at that. So it's a partial chop. Later on, it's going to be cooked down in liquid, as I made mention. So it is going to get finer, but I didn't want that to be too bulky because I wanted time. Pumpkin is nice when it's steamed or boiled or roasted, not if it's raw, okay? So scrape down the sides without the measuring cup. Now it wants to cook off, and it's going to cook off for 5 minutes at 120 degrees, speed 1. Now, while it does that, you can see it's telling us to do something. It's saying line the Varoma with parchment. Now, I'm not going to do that today, mainly because my family won't mind if salmon goes through the holes. Now, they want you to line, I've got my old lid today, guys, TM5 lid. Still works perfectly fine. They don't come like that these days. If ever you buy a TM6, you're going to get a black lid. But yeah, I dug that out of the cupboard. I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right, so line the Varoma tray with parchment, which is baking paper, okay? I'm not going to worry about that. Totally up to you as to whether you do that or not. Then it tells you to, it doesn't tell you. Okay, what I'd then be suggesting you do is grab recipe details up again and prep your next ingredients. You will be needing some broccoli to steam, okay? And it says 6 ounces or 12 ounces, 12 I think. I've got some broccolini that are going to go in the bottom here. And I've got some carrots. And the carrots I put through the peeler. No, not the peeler. What's this called? The slicer. The new slicing attachment to the Thermomix. And I actually sliced them up beforehand, okay? And then I'm going to just put them in as well. So these are going to cook while the salmon cooks on top. Okay, one of the next steps will ask us to do that. But since you've got 5-minute cook time, it is your time to get your ingredients out and get them ready. It might be getting out your veggie stock. It might be putting away the ingredients. It might be getting your salmon out. You might decide I'm going to do clean salmon today. I'm not going to put any dressing on it. And so therefore you're just actually getting your salmon out ready to go. So that's going to happen there. If you have people in your family who don't like salmon, baking paper, or there is a tray in the mix shop that you can put on here and put your salmon on top of. Okay, so that's another option as well. I'm holding off putting my salmon on until the very end, only because I don't want to get dirty hands, okay? Now, the other thing you should be doing at this point in time is your potatoes, or cauliflower if you're being low carb. It's going to go in your simmering basket. It is approximately 450 grams, and this is just steamed to go on the side of your dinner. Now, I will take a photo at the end. It will have the beautiful salmon, it will have potatoes, carrot, broccolini, and you'll see a little side of pumpkin soup as well. Okay, so that's the total dinner. It's supposed to serve 6. I'll let you know if it does. I think it will actually. Having soup will completely boost up, you know, the volume of food that we've got coming out of the Thermomix. Okay, I'm going to stop this early only because I'm impatient. In your kitchen, you'll be, you know, peeling potatoes, prepping the next things. But I don't want to take up your valuable time. So, into the Thermomix. Now, you'll see it says 18 ounces of veggie stock. Okay, don't be fooled. It does not mean to put into the machine 18 ounces, which would be nearly 600 grams of this. Okay, it actually means to make it up in its liquid form. So just a general rule of thumb is 1 tablespoon of veggie stock is a main meal for a family. Just a really good rule of thumb to remember when you're looking at how much stock. I also tend, because I told you this year, I'm telling you about how I think about the food as well. I also try to think about what else is in the recipe. So if I had something salty, is that too much? Whoops, a little bit extra. That's all right, it's only 30 grams extra. If I had something salty in there, so say I had Parmesan going into this recipe, or added salt somewhere else, I would then reduce down my veggie stock. Okay, I would go, oh, I'd normally put a tablespoon, but let's just err on the side of caution. Let's go a little bit under a tablespoon. So that's my thinking process. If you're trying to still gain confidence in winging it a little bit when you want to. All right, next up, it asks for the simmering basket to pop inside. I actually might just push down the food off the sides of that bowl because I did add that extra pumpkin. You can see that's quite high, just so that it does get cooked in. And then, by the way, if you haven't yet, I'm going to make mention, go download this month's printable from tmxadventures.com.au. Over there, scan that code, or go to my website, go to the blog, download the printable for the month. Okay, it's got all the downloadable recipes on it of what I'm making in February. And while you're there, subscribe, because next week, before the month is done, those of you who are on my subscribers list, you are getting a sneak peek at next month. You'll be able to download next month's early. I'm so excited to show you what I've got in store for next month. So back to here, simmering basket in, potato in, okay, salt and pepper. Nah, we don't tend to salt and pepper veggies very often, unless they're roasted. Set the Varoma in position. Okay, here we go. So we want the lid on. We want the Varoma base. By the way, this recipe is rated really highly, which is also why I'm quite confident to just do what it tells me to do, okay? I know some of you guys have reached out and asked, you know, Lisa, you say you're doing this for the first time. How do you know? I always check the star ratings. Anything under a 3.8, I will not do without having a really good read to try and figure out why it's not quite right. Okay, so there's my tip of the day. All right, so set the Varoma in position. Add my 12 ounces of broccoli or 12 ounces of mixed vegetables, carrots, cauliflower, broccoli sliced. Season with salt and pepper. Told you I won't be doing that. Insert the Varoma tray, which should be prepared with baking paper if you want it to be. And now it tells you to put your salmon onto the Varoma tray, season with the pepper and cover with the marinade. Now I'm not going to cover with the marinade. That's also probably why they want the baking paper there, because that will contain your marinade and obviously give you a more tender product. However, we're cooking with steam. Our meat that we cook over steam is the most delicate, tender meat you've ever had. If you've not yet tried a whole chook in that Varoma, find my video and do it. You will never, ever roast a chook in the oven again once you've steamed one in here. It is amazing. It falls off the bone, okay? It just falls apart in your mouth. Corned beef, similarly. Meatballs, amazing. So I'm not worried about that marinade because I'm quite confident on the fact that this meat will be absolutely delicate and amazing. So now I'm going to get my fingers dirty. Been holding off on this for a long time. So on goes these beautiful salmon fillets. Mine are actually, truth be known, a little frozen still I'm feeling them. That's okay. This actually has quite a long cook time. It actually cooks for 25 minutes, which is actually quite a long time. In the past, cooking salmon, I tend to cook for 15. So this is a longer cook, but in saying that, it also has a soup underneath, which has to get hot first. And it's got all those veggies to get through as well. So I'm going to follow it to a T in that regard because it's so highly rated. It's got nearly 5 stars, okay? So I'm confident to do that. What I'm not confident in is how I'm going to touch the Thermomix with my yucky hands. All right, on with the lid. I'm glad I found this lid. Now you guys can kind of see. How cool is that? All right, 25 minutes, Varoma, speed 2. Okay, welcome back. Let's finish off this beautiful recipe. It's been cooking for 25 minutes. It does say to continue it longer. I don't think you need to continue it longer. These 25 minutes is long enough for the potato of that size, for the veggies of that size, for the salmon of that size. I think I made mention earlier, if you don't have other stuff in there, you could cook that salmon off in 15 minutes on its own anyway, just with water in the base. So you're going to be done at 25 minutes. We did have to cook through things, which is why it had the longer cook time, but it will be done. So let's go next. Remove the simmering basket. So a couple of tips. When you want to take your Varoma off, your lid, no matter which model lid you've got, is your drip tray. So flip it upside down, put it on the bench, okay? Now you can lift the whole lot off or you can lift the individual tray. Totally up to you. I'm going to lift the whole lot off for the moment. We want to get to the simmering basket. Flip that upside down, take that away. Oh, look at those potatoes. Remove the simmering basket with the aided spatula. So, because I've got the pumpkin in there, you can see it's got a bit of pumpkin-y juiciness on it. It will not matter. I'm not worried. It does say to set them aside to keep warm. We're going to use them. Like, we're literally going to eat in the next 15 minutes, so I do not need to do that. I'm just going to place them aside. I am going to show you this all plated up in a moment. Soup. Can't wait. All right, let's continue. Remove the Varoma tray, set aside, set the broccoli into the serving dish, cover and keep warm. So you'd use a Thermo server. Okay, some cream. Now this is where I'm actually going to use coconut cream to keep it dairy free. If you didn't have cream, I can't read. Frozen peas. This is where you add your frozen peas. We're not adding frozen peas, we put pumpkin in. Okay, then it tells you to put the Varoma on top and cook longer. As I made mention, not cooking longer. Set aside. Okay, here we go. This is where I was, where it says about the milk, not the cream. But you could add cream, you could add yogurt. I'm using coconut cream. Okay, if you can't do any of those things, a handful of cashew nuts would also do it. It's really just something that makes it creamier in texture. It is a fair amount, like if you think about it, 8 ounces, 8 times 3 out of 0, it's going to be 240 grams. Maths is not my strong point, okay? Never has been. Whoops. You know what? I'm just going to put the rest in because I don't want the rest in the fridge. All right, next up, we're going to blend this till smooth. So next, insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid end. Let me just grab this over here. I love the soups in the Thermomix. The smooth blend is like nothing else you'll ever get, okay? So next, now it's got a 1-minute blend. While that's happening, I am going to be putting the veggies out and I will show you, well, actually, I'll give it a go at putting them out. I'm not very good at presenting, guys, just in case you didn't realize. So while that 1-minute blend's happening, I will have a go at starting to put the veggies out. So we'll see you in 1 minute. Now that blend in the Thermomix, as I said, it's like nothing else. Honestly, silky smooth, no matter if it's got meat in it or what. It literally says now, serve it up. All right, so I've got 1 serve over here of the beautiful salmon. I'll put it on the camera so you can see it. Salmon, broccolini, potatoes, and carrots. They're going to need some salt and pepper on top. Well, not salt, but pepper particularly on top. And watch this. This is your silky smooth. And I did put more cream into it, so it is a bit more creamy coloured than otherwise. But check this out. Look. How beautiful is that? Now, remember with your Thermomix, the recipes are a guide, not a rule book. So if you don't like peas, you can swap it for pumpkin. Maybe you don't like pumpkin, but you want to do potato and leek or cauliflower and leek. Or maybe you have pumpkin, but you want to put cumin in it. use them as a guide, okay? Try and always use veggie stock in them because it'll just enhance that flavor so significantly, but they are a guide, not a rule book, okay? So that is how you make this beautiful, quite simple recipe from cookiedoo.com.au. Using your Varoma, 20-25 minutes, depends on your salmon as well. Mine was partly frozen, it's definitely cooked now, ready to go. You would have that beautiful gravy if you marinated it. It's not marinated. If you cooked it in the marinade, you'd have a little bit of that just trickle over the top. I'm actually going to just use some of the pumpkin soup and do a bit of a sauce over the top, and you'll see that in the photo shortly. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm here to help you get the most out of your Thermomix, so please don't ever hesitate to reach out. I hope these videos inspire you with more confidence in using your Thermomix. Getting more out of it and using your Varoma, okay? This month is all about learning really good habits for our Thermomix and getting into literally habitual ways of using it so it's just what we reach for, because often we've had all these years of cooking old school ways, which are fine, but they're more labor intensive. Often they require more of our attention and things like that. So it's really great if we've got a Thermomix on the bench and we're confident enough to go, you know what, I don't need to do stovetop soups. I can literally make pumpkin soup in my Thermomix. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me today. I am going to go get this to the kids. I can hear them at the door already. So take care, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more Thermomixing. Do go download the printable from over there as well. But take care. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.